Hi, it's Ray Pucci with the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined today by Todd Pasquarella, who's one of the owners of Union Grove Distillery on Route 28 in Arkville, and we're at Union Grove Distillery. Todd is also the chair of our Delaware County Chamber Board of Directors, and together we're going to tell you a little bit about what our priorities for action for 2020 are at the Delaware County Chamber. The priorities for action is real simple. It's our business plan for 2020. It sets our priorities. And that's a plan that's been approved by our board of directors, but that plan really started with you. Back in the fall, many of you attended our business check-in sessions that we had in different locations around Delaware County, where we asked you what's preventing you from growing your business. What are those obstacles that are to growing your business here in the Catskill Mountain region? And from that, a lot of discussion, lots of ideas, we kind of drilled down and created some ideas in different buckets, if you will. And we're going to talk about some of those priorities right now. The first one is absolutely central. Advocating for policies to build and grow businesses here in Delaware County. And we will effectively advocate for a business-friendly and regulatory environment, for prosperous communities, and increased economic opportunities. And Todd, let's talk about some of those specific areas.
Sure. Of all the topics that we discussed, there were several that were high priorities. First is short-term rentals, and the idea being to try to create some sort of consistent countywide standards that people can rely on, so there's more predictability when we're interacting with these things, and they're certainly having quite an effect on both housing, lodging, and housing and lodging here in the county. So
when we're talking about short-term rentals, it's making sure that everyone's operating with the same set of rules.
Correct.
Essentially.
Yeah. Not necessarily saying be more restrictive, less restrictive, but basically try to have some consistency and predictability.
Be the same.
Second, we want to engage, people want us, and they want to be able to engage more with their elected officials, particularly local officials, county level officials, all the way up through state and federal. And right. This is certainly something that the Chamber has been doing and will be redoubling efforts on.
And making sure that our members have that direct access to those representatives as well, creating those venues where that can happen.
Right. And we have a consistent message in doing so.
Yep.
Third is housing, and this affects people throughout the county in different ways. In our end of the county, we're seeing very difficult for working people to find affordable housing available here. So we want to try to advocate for policies that will make housing more available for those who need it. In other parts of the county, folks telling us that they're having trouble finding housing maybe for more upper middle class income categories, that sort of thing. So what we need to do is look at ways to increase the overall availability of housing so people can live here, stay here, and thrive.
And maybe be a little bit more creative with some of those housing options that are available.
Correct. And fourth is planning. Now, different localities have their own master plans, comprehensive plans. County's working on a plan. We want to make sure that, again, business interests are represented in these plans, having to do with transportation, having to do with infrastructure, having to do with developable land and resources needed for that.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that business has a seat at that table. The next one, super important, cellular service. We currently in the county are very spotty in where we have available cellular service. And so many of our members and people who showed up at the business check-ins identified this particular issue as a major barrier, hard for their customers to communicate and find them, also hard for the people that they work with to communicate with each other, to provide the type of experience that they're trying to, and the level of service. So yeah. Very important getting more cellular service, and we're working on advocating for that. And the last is lodging. The lodging piece has sort of been trying to solve itself for many years by the short-term rentals popping up. And although this is a good way for the market to try to correct itself, sort of, what's happened is we have now a housing shortage, which is creating its own set of problems. So in the end, I think we believe that if we can increase the supply of lodging, that'll decrease the pressure on housing and create more capacity for people to come and stay.
And especially for group lodging, when we're talking about tourism promotion, making sure that we have the ability to attract groups here, because a lot of our visitor spending is tied to that metric. The other is community and economic development. Certainly the Chamber is central in that. We're going to try to connect that regional government, education, business, nonprofit stakeholders all together to create and promote that world-class rural quality of life. And some of the areas that we're really going to be focusing on include tourism promotion. We're the tourism promotion agency for Delaware County. Our Shop Local, that I Pledge campaign that a lot of you participated in last fall. We're going to expand on that, bring that more into the realm of social media and get more engagement in that. Our Leadership Delaware program wraps up in a couple months, and we'll be looking later this year at starting a new class for our Leadership Delaware program. And finally, being that source for information and facilitation. One of the things that we heard from you was that, we know that there's help out there, but we just don't know how to get it. So we're going to put something together working with our partners to make that process a little bit easier for everybody so that you can find the information that you need to help grow your business. Why don't you tell us about that next area?
Sure, that ties in pretty good with the next topic, which is business training, mentoring, and counseling. So our members asked us to try to provide the following training. So it'll be both in-person and online training, remote training. We're trying to do is, there are a number of resources that exist. Again, we're trying to kind of channel existing resources so that they're more accessible,
right? So
that we're connecting people who are looking for things with the thing that they're looking for, and also create sort of an online library of trainings, if you will, that people can go back to and access, don't have to or can't show up necessarily at a certain place at a time, but they are interested in being helped in different areas, and we can create that kind of value for our members. We have one-to-one assistance as an idea. Basically, the idea of mentoring, connecting people with vast experiences with people who maybe are less experienced and trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
That's certainly something that people are looking to reach out for, and I think we can be a good connector in that way.
And anytime that we're doing this, to highlight the expertise that we have locally. Use our local resources, use our members, and make sure that the resources that you bring to the table, that you're able to share with our other members and be our local experts, because you are right now. The other area is one that touches us all across the county, and that's population recovery. We know that our population continues to decline. This is a census year, and we'll see what those numbers play out. But we really need to have a concerted effort to look at how we can retain our students that we have here right now, attract those folks who are already familiar with us, who maybe have graduated from a local high school or one of our local colleges, and as they're approaching those family formation years, to come back to Delaware County and build their lives here. And also how we can convert some of those visitors who are coming to places like Union Grove into full-time residents here in the county as well, and certainly talking with our part-time residents and reverse that trend that we're seeing all across upstate New York in population loss, and translate that here to a population gain, maybe even here in Delaware County. Todd, tell us, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we hear quite often from our businesses, from our members, that they have positions that they're having difficulty filling.
Absolutely.
So there's a misnomer that it's hard to find a job in Delaware County. Actually, it's hard to sometimes find someone to fill a job in Delaware County.
That's more the truth.
And so we want to help connect the dots so that both ends of that equation win. And so that's a big part about of what we're trying to do right now. And we really want to play up some of the positives that we see around the county that might help attract people here. The recreation resources, things that are used for tourism also are used by locals, and so we have. For
It's
instance,
a lifestyle.
Outdoor sports, skiing.
Right.
We have all kinds of summer recreation opportunities. Those are things that, if you live here, you can partake in, benefit from as well.
And certainly the history and the cultural arts and the fine arts and everything else. It's all part of living here in Delaware County, and we want to tell more people about that story and maybe change some perceptions that exist out there. And like you said, the biggest one is that there are no jobs here in Delaware County. We got jobs here. The last area is creating connection and value for members. We are a membership organization, and it's all about working for our members and bringing measurable value to chamber members through high quality core services, business promotion and recognition, and networking events. So some of those things include some cost savings discounts that we offer right now because we're able to bring that group together. Certainly our networking and our recognition events, things like our breakfast. We're starting a few new events, like a luncheon that we'll be doing a couple times a year. Evening events, that our first one will be in April here at Union Grove. And finally, ways that we can communicate our message. Things like this, talking to you through YouTube in our videos, but also on Facebook, Instagram, our website, through our TV program, through our radio program, through news releases, making sure that everyone understands our message and that message of entrepreneurism and the private sector here in Delaware County, and the message of Delaware County. So we invite you to be part of that process. Join the movement to support business. Contact us at delawarecounty.org. Remember, we're stronger together.